Tell us about Nordstrom versus Urban Outfitters. Is this a pairs trade type situation?
Well, Dom, you hit it. It was definitely a tale of two different stories here. And, if you look at Nordstrom numbers, the anniversary sales shift, the digital was only up 20%. I mean, you compare that to a Macy's even, which was up double that, a Kohl's, which was up way more than that. So, you question all the investments they made up front years ago. They were the first to really invest in the space. The second thing is, while their inventories are really tight and really clean, their margins were still way down from markdowns. So, what we've seen from the department store space is they're just not ordering new product. And, the fashion and the apparel sector is really on hold.
For the longest time, we talked about the growing rack operations over at Nordstrom, that off-price unit that they had. Is it in a situation now where it's facing the same hurdles that Ross Stores is, that TJX is right now? And is that going to be a real weight around it going forward into the holiday season as inventories get leaner?
Yeah, so we heard from TJX that they really couldn't get enough inventory in stores. The supply chain, Urban Outfitters CEO said, is, quote, hideous right now, which is a very appropriate description. There's just so many log jams. So for the off-price guys, it was just really hard to get product. But if you look at Rack for Nordstrom, it way underperformed Ross and TJX here. So, we have a bigger picture here, perhaps increased market share loss. But for TJX, once they get their inventory in place, the traffic's there, the customer demand is there. They just need to get the supply chain in check, which is already starting to happen. So I would prefer TJX certainly over Nordstrom here.
What's the big driving force behind Urban Outfitters' kind of surge? Was it the Anthropologie side of things? Was it Urban Outfitters itself? And what will provide it that fuel going forward?
It was a couple things. So Urban is performing quite well in pre-market because, number one, you have the Free People brand, which has done an amazing job of pivoting. So they have kind of a workout brand. They were doing free videos online, free workouts. So kind of getting on the Lululemon bandwagon here. So that worked really well. And their comps were up 11%. I mean, that's amazing in this environment. Urban Outfitters, they also talked about, August wasn't worse despite the lack of back to school here. And finally, what you're hearing from all retailers right now, except for Kohl's, is that markdowns have been better. Because inventories are so tight. So while they're selling a lot less stuff, they're selling it at full price and higher margin. And I think that's really the story going forward, is we're going to see better margins and perhaps 15 to 20% lower sales.
All right, Nordstrom and Urban Outfitters, we've talked a lot about them now. Are either of them your favorite pick? If not, what is?
So what I really like here is Ulta. They're reporting on Thursday. And if you think about the department store space, and what we just heard from Nordstrom is the market share shift in beauty is still up for grabs here. So you have Ulta, which is off mall. So the customer doesn't need to go into the dome of traffic and germs. They can get in and get out. And I think what Ulta's doing really effectively is they just are launching buy online, pick up in store. They're really early in that game. So while we've heard from so many retailers saying, hey, our margins have been so great because our customers picking up stuff rather than shipping it, you're going to hear a lot about that, and you're going to hear a margin bump for them. And finally, I think for holiday, gifting is going to be all about self-care, what better gift to give. And their loyalty program and shift to online means that their customer, as they shift online, is going to be spending about 3 times as much as they do in store.